to discuss and exchange ideas in the field of communications. 4, promote and encourage professional development among communication majors. 5, to establish and maintain close relationships and mutual understanding between faculty and students. And lastly, 6, to explore options for further graduate educations.
Hello, my name is Shanique Brown, and I am a senior mass communications major, also graduating in May. The membership in Lambda Pi Eta is composed of undergraduate students who have declared an interest in the field of communication and have achieved a high level of academic excellence. To be eligible for membership, students must have completed 60 semester hours in undergraduate coursework, have a cumulative GPA of at least 3.0, have completed at least 12 semester hours in communication coursework, have a GPA of at least 3.25 in communication, be in the upper 35% of their class, and be currently enrolled as a full-time student in good standing with their institution.
I'll now introduce our guest speaker for this evening. Kimberly Berry is a communication professional with over 5 years of experience in the nonprofit, real estate, aviation, higher education, and technology industries. Coining herself as a corporate storyteller, Kimberly's expertise lies in taking information and sharing it with stakeholders in a clear, concise way that also tells a captivating story. Kimberly earned her Bachelor of Arts in Communication from Prairie View A&M University in 2016, and her Master of Science in Communication and Engagement lead for the Global IT Business Unit, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise in Houston, Texas, and has the pleasure to work with students at Lone Star College as a communication adjunct professor. She also serves on the Early Career Network Leadership Board as a communications co-chair and is a member of ColorCom, an organization dedicated to women of color in the communication and media industry. Outside of her professional life, she enjoys traveling, trying out new foods, and spending time with family and friends. She lives by the mantra, joy is your birthright. I also had the honor of inducting Kim into the Lambda Pi Eta organization here at Prairie View in the fall of 2015. So now at this time, I'll turn things over to Ms. Kimberly Berry.
Well, good evening. Can you all hear me? Awesome. Good evening. You all look great. Very dapper. First, thank you so much, Dr. Blackwell, for inviting me back. It's an honor to come back to my home, Prairie View. And second, congratulations. This is fantastic. It's an outstanding achievement, and you should be very proud of yourself. I want to spend some time. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, but I want to spend some time kind of sharing with you some of the things that I have learned amongst my journey, because I was in your same shoes, exact same place, and it has been a journey. So before I get into that, I want to take a moment for you to imagine for a second. Is that okay? All right. So I want you all to close your eyes. And if you're a parent or here supporting, close your eyes too. And imagine this with the person that you came here to support. So first, let's take a deep breath in and out. All right. So I want you to imagine it's 11:59 p.m. and you've turned in your very last assignment. And you are about to walk across that stage and become an alumni of Prairie View A&M University. Feels good, right? Feels good. Okay, so now I want you to imagine you're at graduation, you're excited, you got your cool fit on, you look good, and you're ready. Now, when you step across that stage, on the other side of that is the dream career you've always wanted. On the other side of that stage is that multi-figure business that you've always dreamt about. On the other side of that stage is the acceptance to the graduate school that you've always wanted to go to. And most importantly, on the other side of that stage is a life filled with joy, love, contentment, peace, and fulfillment. How does that feel? Feels good, right? Feels good. Okay, I want you to open your eyes. So I wanted you to imagine that because that is so important. Some of the things that I'm going to share with you, I want you to keep these things in mind as you prepare to go into your senior year. Some of you are graduating in May, so that's wonderful. Congratulations on that. So the first thing, know your value. Now, when I was in school, I would tell people, oh, what's your major? My major's communications. What you gonna do with that? Right? I don't know if you all have experienced that. But there are so many things that you can do with your degree. So I want you to understand and know your value. In 2020, there was a workforce study that came out, and they said the number one skill that they were looking for from employees was, guess what? Communication. Okay? And another cool thing that I want you to know, I currently work in technology, so I'm a communication person in technology. And so I hear a lot of things about processes and automation and things like that. And the cool thing about this major and what you've chosen to go into is that it cannot be automated, right? Because communication requires emotional intelligence. It requires creativity. And that is something that cannot be automated. So your skill set that you have is very unique, and it has value that you may not even understand. Some of you are probably involved in a lot of different things. When I was here, I had a YouTube channel. I didn't become YouTube famous, but I had a YouTube channel, and I like to talk about hair, and I like to talk about fashion. I wrote for the Panther, for the newspaper here, and some of you may do different things. Some of you may work right in this TV studio. You may have your own blog. Some of you might be TikTok famous. Anybody TikTok famous? No? Okay. But you have a skill set that a lot of people may not have. So you really have to have that confidence in yourself to know that your value is there. And when you know your value, when you step into the world, you'll have the confidence to sell yourself. All right. So the second thing that I want you to know is to be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong learner. So when I was a little girl, I would come to Houston, Texas, where my grandmother was, and we would hang out at her house. And we couldn't curse in her household, obviously, but there was another word that we couldn't say, and that was bored. You couldn't say that you were bored. I was about 8 years old, and I slipped up, and I said that I was bored. And my grandmother reprimanded me, and what she did was she handed me a book. Now, for me, this was pivotal because I fell in love with reading. I fell in love with storytelling when she did that. But the phrase that she told me was that you should never be bored because there's always something to learn, right? So you're in school and you're learning something every single day, something new. If you're taking media criticism, you're learning about different theories and how to apply those theories. You're learning all these things. Well, being a lifelong learner will not only help you professionally, but it'll also help you personally. Professionally speaking, you know, learning new skills, continuing your education, being open to always learning will get you to the next stage. And then personally, being a lifelong learner will help you to evolve, right? Some of the mindsets that I had when I was on this campus are far gone because I've been open to learning and evolving, right? And the last thing that I want to share with you, and this one I want you to say with me out loud. This one is called Trust the Process. So I want you to say that with me out loud. You ready? Trust the process. Awesome. Now, I have locks, and I see some fellow locks in the audience here too. I've had my locks for 2 years. And when I started my locks, my loctician, or my lock doula, she likes to call herself, she had a very serious conversation with me. She made me do a consultation before I could start my locks. And she was like, this is a commitment, right? Like, you are committing yourself to this hairstyle. And she told me, you've got to trust the process. Now, if you have locks, you know, in the lock community, that is something that is said all the time. Trust the process. Because when I started my locks, they didn't look like this. They didn't hang how they're hanging, and they didn't have the maturity that they have. Trusting the process is very important. When some of you graduate, you might have a job offer. Some of you may not have a job offer. Some of you may move on to do a certain career, and some of you may do something different. Everyone is going to have a different process, right? I can sit here and tell you every single thing that I have done from point A to point B, and it still won't be the same as your process, because my process is different than Dr. Blackwell's process and everybody else's. So you have to trust your process. The skills that you have gained while you're here, the things that you have learned, and obviously the commitment that you have. You all are here being inducted into an honor society. So you are committed to your academic schoolwork. You have to trust that process. So to conclude here, I just want to say that, you know, I can sit here and tell you what you should do for your career and all these different things, and do this with your resume or do that with your resume. But I didn't want to leave you with that. I wanted to share some things that I feel will help impact your life professionally and personally. So 1, know your value. Be a lifelong learner. When you graduate and you walk across that stage, don't that be the last time you open a book, right? Like, keep learning, keep reading, keep evolving as a person. And finally, trust the process. So thank you so much for your time. Again, congratulations. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Stay right there, stay right there, stay right there. Now it's the time you've all been waiting for. We're ready to induct our new members into the Lambda Pi Eta Honor Society. So as I call your name, please come forward to receive your membership materials. So our first inductee this evening is Cassie Bell. Cassie is a senior from San Antonio, Texas. Her favorite comm class thus far has been media criticism. And after graduation, she plans to enlist in the military and work in the journalism and broadcasting sector. Next up, we have Caleb Carter. Caleb is a senior from Houston, Texas. His favorite comm class thus far has been Digital Audio 2, and he plans to go to graduate school and pursue a master's degree in broadcast journalism, specializing in sports journalism. Next up, we have Najir Carter. Nas is a junior from the Colony. His favorite comm class thus far has been Digital Audio Production 1. And after graduation, he plans to pursue a career as an audio engineer and to become a media technical manager and director. Next up, we have Yasmin Douay. Yasmin is from LaPlace, Louisiana. She's a senior whose favorite comm class thus far has been Digital Audio Production 2. She aspires to break into the entertainment, journalism, and marketing industries after graduation. Next, we have Amber McKnight. Amber is a junior from Dallas, Texas. Her favorite comm class so far has been broadcast writing. And her goal is to become a well-known journalist using her voice and platform to make sure that other people's stories are heard. Next up, we have Mackenzie Murphy. Mackenzie is a junior from Texarkana, Texas. Her favorite comm class has been The Message, Hip Hop as Communication. And after graduating, she plans to go to grad school and get a degree in strategic communication and to pursue a career in public relations or creative marketing. Next up, we have Ragini Odoms. Ragini is a senior from Houston, Texas. Her favorite comm class has been media literacy, and she plans to work in strategic communications or PR for an NFL team. Next, we have Jalen Pounders. Jalen is a junior from Dallas, Texas. His favorite comm class has been Hip Hop as Communication, and he's currently undecided about post-graduation plans, but is focusing right now on his schoolwork and music. Next, we have Haley Robinson. Haley is a junior from Houston, Texas. Her favorite comm class has been media literacy, and she plans to go to grad school or spend some time traveling. Ultimately, she wants to work in the entertainment and journalism field. Next up, we have Kiara Sibley. Kiara is a senior from Port Arthur, Texas. Her favorite comm class has been Introduction to Mass Comm. And post-graduation, her goal is to find a well-established job and to achieve financial stability. Next, we have Dorian Waller. Dorian is a junior from Sugar Land, Texas. His favorite comm class has been television studio production. And his career goals are to work for the NBA, hopefully the Houston Rockets, and to work for ESPN as well. And finally, we have Jordan White. Jordan is a senior from Richmond, California. Her favorite comm class has been Hip Hop as Communication, and she plans to attend law school in the fall to practice law and give voice to those who are silenced in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, our Spring 2023 inductees. At this time, we'll have a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more. Welcome back. So to complete the process of induction, we have one last step, and that is the oath of membership. So once I have finished reading the list of questions in this section, each of you will have the opportunity to respond individually. If you accept the membership oaths, simply say, I do. As newly inducted members of Lambda Pi Eta, do you accept the challenge to maintain the high academic and leadership standards set forth by the organization and to serve as examples for the achievement of excellence in the field of communication? And do you promise to work toward the achievement of the purposes and goals as set down by the National Organization of Lambda Pi Eta? If so, please answer, I do.
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 All right, I think that's everybody. All right, once again, let's give a big round of applause to our new inductees. I'm going to ask them to return to their seats at this time, and I'm going to ask our guest speaker to come back up one more time. As we draw our ceremony to a close, I think it's really important to recognize and acknowledge our guest speaker. This is the first time since I've been the advisor of this organization that we've actually had a special guest speaker to come back and to speak to the students. And Kim set the bar really high for future speakers. Really awesome presentation. We just want to thank you for the time and effort that went into planning that and for volunteering to come out and to speak to these students. We have a small token for you. Courtney's going to bring up. And again, we just want to say thank you. Yeah, this is one of my former students, so I feel like almost like a proud parent at this point. It's just a strange feeling. So yeah, this is the conclusion. This is the conclusion of our ceremony. I just want to thank all those who came out this evening. We have parents in the room. We have friends and family in the room. We have other professors in the room, and other students in the room. And I know that you could have been anywhere, but we're thankful that you're here this evening. We're also thankful to those that are watching online. This is our first time streaming it online. And the fact that we are streaming it means that there is a team of people that put this production together. So everybody in the control room, I want to thank you all for the work you're doing. Those of you who have set up cameras, all of the work that went into this, it's just been really great. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to head out to the lobby for a reception. You all are invited to come and celebrate with us, take pictures, do whatever it is that you want to do to celebrate these new inductees. And to the inductees, one more time, congratulations. I also want to say a special thank you to our current members. The reason that the ceremony looks the way it does is because of current members. These were their ideas. Even though their ceremony wasn't as fancy as this one, they wanted it to be like this for you. And that says a lot about who they are, and so we would definitely want to thank them. So once again, thank you all for your participation and for your presence in the audience. And so we'll conclude now. Thanks.